With the rising spate of insecurity in the country, Northern Elders Forum says the government has failed, but tonight we assess the situation around the country. The Senate President Hamid Lawan says Nigeria loses $29 billion yearly as a result of epileptic power supply. Hello everyone and welcome to the program. This is Politics Today live on Channels Television. I'm Sean Kimaloye in Lagos. Let's tell you some very worrying statistics coming out about the loss of Nigeria in the case of electricity that is not very much with us, especially in a lot of people's homes. So the Senate President, Hamid Lawan, said today that Nigeria loses $29 billion yearly as a result of epileptic power supply. Senator Lawan is making the remark during the hearing by the Senate Committee on Power on the Power Sector Recovery Plan and the impact of COVID-19 pandemic. Senator Lawan says Nigeria spent 1.8 trillion naira on power since 2015 without anything concrete to show for it. Going forward, the Senate President says he's asking the executive to present to the National Assembly all funds earmarked for the power sector for proper scrutiny. We have, before we delve into our major story for tonight, we have some political stories that we've packaged on our political roundup.
It's good news for residents of Nsukka in Enugu North Senatorial District, as a very important road in their area has just been commissioned for use by the governor, Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi. While commissioning the link roads totaling 11 kilometers, the governor noted that the move is part of his effort to create more urban centers and decongest the capital city.
I implore the people living and passing through Nsukka to make responsive use of these roads to ensure its serviceability and durability, without unnecessary physical human destructions.
Nsukka is one of the largest cities in Enugu State, with an estimated population of about 2 million persons. A federal high court judge sitting in Abuja has fixed June the 30th this year for judgment in the suit filed by the former senator representing Kogi West, Senator Dino Melaye, who is challenging the decision of the House of Representatives to deliberate on the infectious diseases bill currently before the House. At the resumed hearing, lawyer to Senator Melaye adopted his final address as he informs the court that some sections of the proposed bill is injurious and capable of affecting the fundamental rights of his client. Lawyers to the House of Representatives, the Attorney General of the Federation, and Inspector General of Police, however, challenged the competency of the suit and the jurisdiction of the court to entertain it, as they insist that the House of Representatives are only performing their legislative duties. Justice Ijoma Ojukwu, after listening to all the parties, fixed June the 30th for judgment. Factional chairman of the All Progressives Congress, APC, in Edo State, Mr. Anselm Ojezwa, insists that his position as party chairman came from a credible process and the David Imuze-led faction of the party does not have legal backing to function in any capacity for the party. This reaction is coming on the heels of calls for his expulsion from the party alongside the Edo State Governor, Godwin Obaseki, and others by the Imuze-led faction over alleged anti-party activities.
We have warned, we have complained, we have shouted, and they have allowed him, like a bull in a china shop, destroy everything.
The Speaker of the Jigawa State House of Assembly, Mr. Idris Kareka, has stripped 4 lawmakers of the House Committee chairmanship. The Speaker of the House, who made the announcement during a plenary session, says the move is necessary to cut costs in the House owing to the economic impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. This did not go down well with the 4 members affected, as they threatened court action if the decision is not reversed.
Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us tonight. We're going to be talking about perhaps the biggest business or whatever role a government should have on its hand It's not a very good one. It's not a very easy one as we speak. And that is the issue of security. Tonight, our attention is on the issues of insecurity in some part of the country, which is a major concern for a lot of people, including the Northern Elders Forum, who are lamenting the increasing rate of insecurity, particularly in the northern region of the country. And the group is accusing President Muhammadu Buhari and some state governments of failing to tackle the situation. The convener of the forum, Mr. Ango Abdullahi, says the situation is getting worse by the day and that constant attacks by bandits and Boko Haram insurgents are, according to him, indications that the government, quote, has failed woefully in terms of security and welfare of citizens. The Northern Elders Forum adds that the North has never experienced this level of insecurity as it accuses the current government of issuing threats and promises that have no effect. Meanwhile, another group under the edges of progressive Arawav movement is also blaming government for the inability to address insecurity challenges in the region. But the presidency, well, let me show you some portion of what the Northern Elders Forum has said. And that's it. They said, it will appear that the administration of the President Muhammadu Buhari and governors have lost control over the imperatives of protecting people of the North and constitutional duty that they swore to uphold. They went further to say that the situation is getting worse literally by the day. Bandits and insurgents appear to sense a huge vacuum in political will and capacity, which they exploit with disastrous consequences on communities and individuals. That is from the Northern Elders Forum on insecurity in the country, where the president has taken a swipe at the Northern Elders Forum over his comments on the nation's security challenges. This is what the presidency said. The president, in a statement, said that the forum is but, I just wanted you to see the quote for yourself. There was a statement from the president's special advisor on media and publicity, Mr. Femi Adesina. He said, we are not surprised by these latest statement by Professor Abdullahi, and our past position on what his group represents remains unchanged, a mere irritant and featherweight. Let's get talking on this one. Some of the people who have appropriated monies for us to fight insurgency, we're getting one of them to speak to us tonight. Is a member of the House of Representatives, Honorable Tajudeen Yusuf, is a member of the PDP. Thank you so much, Honorable, for coming tonight. You are, interestingly, a member of the House. A few times, the President has sent letters to the National Assembly for appropriation of funds to fight insecurity in the country. Interestingly, also, you are from the northern region of the country. So give us a sense of what you make of Professor Ango Abdullahi's group statement that the government has failed woefully. Is that right?
Very correct. Very correct, Shehu. I am not interested in what is on between the president and Professor Ango Abdullahi. But the facts of the matter remains that insecurity is at its peak now. I'm from Kogi State. And if I begin to tell you what it was and what it is now in Kogi State, how do you assess a situation? You just oppose with what it was and what it is now. My greatest pain and fear is that there's this very lackadaisical approach to certain persons' atrocities. I grew up in Kaba, and we used to have Fulanis in our communities. They're even scared of community leaders reporting them to the Oba. They are so emboldened now. You don't report them to the police and everybody attend to you. So Mr. Ango Abdullahi might have one or two differences with the president, I'm not aware, but the statement he made about the fact that insecurity is alarming right now is absolutely correct. But as somebody I'll be privileged to be in the House for some time now, I'm aware that in the last 5, 6 years, 7, 8 years, let me say, insecurity has been a number one burning issue in this country. And I'm aware that one of the major reasons a lot of Nigerians tune into the campaign and the promises of the present government was one of the statements they made about leading from the front and being a general in Nigeria. I mean, I don't wanted to say former. A general is always a general. So I have not seen that come to bear. Sincerely, I was very optimistic, trusting that his pedigree, his person will come to bear in tackling insecurity. But unfortunately, I think he tuned down, tuned off, either consciously or unconsciously. And these marauders, these criminals, that's how I call them, these men who just go to a community, raise down the community, kill men, kill children. 5-6 days ago, a 2-year-old child was killed along Lokoja, Abuja Road. Apart from 6 other grown-up persons, but a 2-year-old child just coming into this world. So I agree with Mr. Ango Abdullahi and Professor Ango Abdullahi that, yes, of a truth, we have not shown, I'm saying we now, I'm a National Assembly member, we have not shown enough capacity to tackle insecurity. And I'm scared that the criminals are becoming more emboldened, daring. They come into communities in the afternoon, in the bike. The ones that happened in the Solu in Kogi State.
Honorable Yusuf.
For like
Honorable Yusuf, if you look at the efforts that this government has made in terms of fighting insecurity, some of the footage that comes across from the military about how they are invading some of these insurgents, would you be able to give any credit at all to the military and the government since it took office 5 years ago?
I will sincerely not just want to run down our military. I know the risk. I mean, what the risk of going into such very dangerous terrain. Many have lost their life. But intention and things you show me are not enough. The result on ground, are we more, better, Nigeria is better secured now? No. Can people go to farm with ease and come back home safe? No. So we need to change our strategy if the strategy is not working well. We need to do something better. I don't want to go into even what happened of recent, where on social media, I don't know if it is true, let me be sincere, where we had a mockery from one of our, I'm sorry, I don't want to use derogatory words about another sovereign nation, but a country nobody here they were brandishing how they were able to tackle Boko Haram without even the support of the Nigerian government, and that they will not go further than this because they feel it's not their territory. Of a truth, I have not seen correspondent result to match what I hear be brandished every day. I have friends, I have colleagues who are from those communities, and they will tell you that it is alarming, it's scary. So I must not in any way underplay the effort of our military men. I do not want to sit here and begin to play down on the effort, but it has not yielded the desired result. We are far from where we want to be. It's worse than what I think it was. Recently, I sat down with one of my colleagues from that end, and the things he told me were scary.
Honorable, if there is one thing that you think that the President, Muhammadu Buhari, should do immediately, a lot of people have made suggestions, even as to dissolving the security chiefs and the composition of the security chiefs in the land. Has it gotten to that point? Should that be the next decision?
He is the commander-in-chief. It is his prerogative to decide who should be where as per security. Unfortunately, I have some contrary opinion to what we have on ground now. I feel it is not good for morale of our military men to have men in course 25, 27, 28 still in service. Course 30, 33 are going on retirement. I think it's not ideal. I don't even think we are doing those service chiefs any good. I don't know who gave that counsel, and I don't know the reason behind it. I don't have information at my disposal cannot substantiate or convince me on why we should have that. Of a truth, I think there is need to do it differently. If these men have been there for this long, I would not be able to, get out of the wood, I think, rejig it a bit. Of a truth, those men have overstayed their welcome. And I don't blame them.
All right.
It's not their fault. It's Commander-in-Chief. It's his prerogative to decide that.
Honorable Tajudeen Yusuf, many thanks for talking to us on this matter tonight, which is at the heart of a lot of the issues on the minds of many Nigerians. Thank you so much for your time tonight. But we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll hear from the spokesperson of the president if some Nigerians say, the president and the government has failed in terms of security. Mr. Femi Adesina is in our Abuja studio to respond to some of these issues and the needed action as of now. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Thank you so much, everyone. Welcome back. And let's get back to the conversation. Let's get the reaction of the presidency at a time when some eminent Nigerians are saying the government has failed woefully in securing the nation. What is the action and the reaction of the president, Muhammadu Buhari, to this matter? I have Mr. Femi Adesina. He's a special advisor to the president of media and publicity. He's in our Abuja studio. Thank you so much, Mr. Adesina, for your time on the program tonight. One major objective of this government 5 years ago, and a promise to this nation, is to secure the country. But it does look like things are getting really worse in terms of security. Is this of a big concern to the president? And what kind of, if this is a concern to the president, what action is it taking in that regard?
Yeah, thank you. Good evening. Security is still number one in the priorities of the administration. Whenever the president lists the priorities of the government, he says, we secure the country, we revive the economy, and we fight corruption. It's always in that order. Yes, security still remains number one, and I'd like to add that there is no time in any country that security will not always be number one. Because the way the world is now, no country can afford to toy with security. Now in Nigeria, we have some encouraging times, encouraging developments, and we also have some very discouraging developments. We have things that happen that throw dampener into the security progress that we are making. But by and large, to now say government has failed, governors have failed, president has failed, that would not be right. It would be unkind, it would be uncharitable, it would be dispiriting even to those who are fighting this criminality. I tell you, in the Northeast, even in Northwest where banditry has been holding sway, there are soldiers and other security agents who have been there for 2-3 years, and they have not gone back to their families. They've not been rotated because the challenges are very stiff. And then somebody comes and says they have failed. How will they feel?
Mr. Adesina,
they see their colleagues paying the ultimate sacrifice in trying to keep the country safe.
Mr. Adesina, but how would you describe it? If failure for you is an extreme word to use, how would you describe it then when people are being maimed and killed and their communities are being sacked every day, and it's growing out of some of the communities that were concentrated? These issues were mostly concentrated, banditry and cattle rustling, concentrated in areas like Kaduna and Katsina, but it's moved into other areas like Zamfara, Sokoto State, and people are crying. How then do you describe such a situation?
Very discouraging, very sad. It throws a dampener into our souls as Nigerians. But then, in the midst of it, last week, the Chief of Army Staff came from the Northeast and he briefed the president, and he said within about 8 weeks that he relocated there, close to 1,500 insurgents were killed. Nobody said anything. Not a word of encouragement. Not kudos to the military. Last week, the Air Force came out to say in Zamfara and in that region, over 400 bandits were killed. Nobody said anything in encouragement to the Air Force. So what I'm saying is that, yes, there are reversals in this security situation. But when we have progress, let us also talk about it. There are some people who have made it their specialty to talk only about the negative. in the country. That is not good enough.
But, I mean, for someone, the president, for example, was promised that he was going to secure the nation, and perhaps the strategy and the model in which he's employing does not look like it was working. Would you say that it was wrong for those who said that model has failed and there should be a re-strategization in the approach?
But talking about model will not be my brief. It will not be within my purview because it's a security thing. It's those who are involved in security and who are experts at it that can talk about model. If we attempt to talk about model, we are just shooting breeze. We are wasting time. It is not for us to do. If there is the need to change model, to change method, to change approach, it is for professionals.
Let's talk about the one that
becomes imperative.
Yeah, Ms. Additional, let's talk about the ones which you can speak for on behalf of your principal, and is the fact that people's lives are being lost every day. People are losing fathers and mothers, who are losing siblings and losing their children every day because of the attacks. We've seen a situation where even governments of some states are negotiating with bandits, and that has even fallen flat. The president's home state of Katsina is being sacked and ravaged by banditry every day. Sokoto lawmakers are saying things have gotten worse in the state. Speak to us about this situation. What is the president doing differently in securing these territories?
I've told you earlier, it is sad. Even if one soul is lost, is too many. One soul, if it's lost, is too many. Every person, every individual has a right to life, and life must not be wantonly taken. And so when we see bandits, we see insurgents just kill people wantonly like that, it cannot be right, and it is not right. But then, is government working on these things? Yes, government is working. Do we make gains? Yes, we do make gains. Because, like the president said in the broadcast, there was a time that 17 local governments were under the control of insurgents. They've been driven out of those local governments. What you have now are sporadic attacks. And I tell you one day, someday soon, even these will end. Because it is not conventional warfare.
Mr. Additional, would it be fair?
No, please wait. No. Wait, let me make my point. If you ask a question and you don't let me make the point, then there's no use to it.
Please go ahead.
The thing is, all over the world, you have these unconventional attacks. And one day, they end. The Tamil Tigers operated for 28 years in Sri Lanka. One day it ended. I'm not saying that these bandits and the insurgents will operate for 28 years, but one day this thing will end. Government is working at it, and it is work in progress. Let nobody come out and say nothing is being done and government has failed. That would be uncharitable.
Mr. Additional, a big question is, if the government is employing a certain strategy, and citizen, because government is not in vacuum, government is there to serve the people. Some people are saying that, look, the strategy you are employing is you need to change strategy. Is the president considering a change of strategy in ensuring the safety of lives and properties of Nigerians?
Asked me, which I had answered. You brought it back in another way. When it comes to strategy, it is not for us. It is not for us to say. It is not for us to determine. It is for experts in that area to determine strategy, to review strategy, and if there is the need to change it, they will do. From time to time, there are reviews. And how do you know that even the strategies remain the same? Strategies may change from time to time. We don't go to the front. We don't know. And it is not for us to determine that this strategy is right or wrong.
So is the president realizing that he's having a tough time in tackling these issues?
And he's the leader of the country. He receives daily security reports. He knows what is going on. And he feels very sad when we have these reversals. And his intention is that this thing will end and clinically end. And one day, I believe we will get there.
All right, we need to close the program. We are out of time. But what I've tried to drive at is to get whether or not the president is taking any immediate action for what has happened recently. And you've not been able to tell me that, Mr. Adesina. Maybe in 10 seconds you can tell us what is the good news that can come from you, Mr. Adesina.
It will not be for us.
For the people of Nigeria, what good news as to how this thing is going to be tackled and tackled decisively? Any good news from the president tonight?
It will come. It will come.
Mr. Femi Adesina, many thanks for coming tonight on this very touching issue, which brings a lot of concern to many Nigerians. Thank you so much. Special Advisor on the Media and Publicity to President Muhammadu Buhari, Mr. Femi Adesina. Thank you for your time. That's our show for tonight, everyone. Many thanks for watching. I'm Sean Kimale. Bye for now.